Greg Gaston, Rick McCracken, cage side in Nashville, Tennessee. Marathon Music Works and V3 Fights as we get set for a welterweight division battle between this gentleman, Kenny Bam Bam Gray, and Justin Hartley. Bam Bam from New Orleans, Louisiana, fighting for the B2G Club. He now resides in Memphis and trains some with John Trent over at UFK. Hartley from Nashville, Tennessee, and Nashville MMA. Rick, tell us all you know about Kenny Bam Bam Gray.
Kenny Bam Bam Gray is tough. He was a great high school wrestler, set some records. He wrestled for Idaho, and he's a good boxer. He's got a lot of skills in his hands and on the ground. So this guy looks like he could go anywhere on the cage.
2-0, less than a year training in MMA. He has a win over Rudy McLaughlin. Not too shabby. Both of his wins coming by decision.
Tell you what, Rudy is a monster. So if he beat Rudy, we are definitely in for an exciting fight.
Bam Bam will probably try to Bam Bam a little bit for a while, and then probably try to take it down to the ground. As you mentioned, he has the wrestling experience, having wrestled in Idaho. He picked up boxing while he was there. He weighed 220 pounds at the time and became ranked number 7 in the country as an amateur heavyweight. He's a long way off from 220 pounds.
Just a little bit.
So there's Kenny Bam Bam Gray inside the V3 cage, and now we'll switch the music, dim the lights, and meet his opponent. Justin Hartley making the close vicinity trip. He's from Nashville. Doesn't take too long for him to get over to Marathon Music Works, and here he comes. Trains under Lance Patrick and Sean Hammonds at Nashville MMA.
Man, Sean Hammond's product right here, Justin Hartley. Some people say he's the best welterweight in the state. We're going to see what he has. This guy's got a little bit of everything in there. He's going to do great style against Kenny Gray because they both fight the same. So when this happens, when you see two fighters that have the same style, it turns out to be a great fight.
He's a scrapper. He can let it go standing. He can get it to the ground. As you mentioned, he's an all-around fighter, but they are very, very similar. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape, brought to you by Iron Jaw Mouth Guards. Again, Gray originally from New Orleans. He's 25. Tipped the scales yesterday at the official weigh-in at 172. He's 5'10" and a boxer. Meanwhile, Hartley, also 25, 169, 6 foot, so he has a couple of inch height advantage on his opponent, a freestyle fighter. Hartley is 3-0. Gray is 2-0. So a couple of guys who are undefeated very much don't want to have to absorb that first loss today in Nashville.
Yeah, both guys undefeated coming in here, and these are two tough fights for each of them. So we're going to watch this and sit back and enjoy. I'm going to look for Greg. I think this is going to be a stand-up war for a bit, and I think Gray is going to dictate whether it goes to the ground or not.
Nice support from the fans here in Nashville from the homegrown product, Justin Hartley. Now let's meet the two officially. Here's Michael Kelly.
V3 Legion, this bout is brought to you by Iron Jaw Custom Mouth Guards, and it's set for 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the black trunks with the red trim. At 5 feet 10 inches, he weighed in at 172 pounds. A boxer with an MMA record of 2 wins and no losses. Representing B2G and fighting out New Orleans, Louisiana, Kenny Bam Bam Gray. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black trunks with the red trim. At 6 feet even, he weighed in at 169 pounds. A freestyle fighter with an MMA record of 3 wins and no losses. Representing Nashville MMA and fighting out of Nashville, Tennessee, Justin Hartley.
Jason Wilkerson, a busy man tonight. He's your referee, and final instructions for the fighters.
You're both of the rules. Ready? You have any questions? Blue, you have any questions? Hook them up. Let's do this.
All right, Rick McCracken, Bam Bam, and Justin Hartley. How do you see it?
I'm looking for Bam Bam to grind this out, stand up, work hard, and then grind it out on the ground.
Somebody's losing for the first time. Meanwhile, one person moves on and stays undefeated. 3 3-minute rounds. Round one, here we go. Kenny Bam Bam Gray, Justin Hartley.
Justin Hartley's very active on the feet. Look for him to do as many things as possible to throw off his opponent.
Nice strike with the right, but his leg caught by Gray. What can Gray do with that? No, Hartley's holding him off right now.
Hartley's holding on pretty good. But
With
Gray,
one leg.
Gray needs to pin him. Switch to the double right here. Boom. Oh, almost.
Not much.
He should have switched to that double leg and he could have took him right down, but he tried to keep that single on. Really hard to lift him up with just a single leg.
And he's holding on once again. Hartley was able to score on a few punches on one leg.
As you watch, nice. Now he's going to switch to that second leg, pull it in.
Hartley's holding on to the
Kenny Gray
side of the cage right there. Yeah, he is.
Kenny Gray is strong. You can tell right now. You see his strength. He didn't let Justin move an inch when he had that leg. Now it's time for Justin to work some jiu-jitsu right here.
Trying for a Kimura.
I can't really tell what he's trying on. We're in a pretty bad angle. All I can see is some wrists locked up under them right now. He's actually in not a great position because if Bam Bam does get his head out, he's pinned against that cage. Right now he's trying for a Kimura.
Did Gray make the strategical mistake?
No. Gray's good. Gray's good.
Okay.
He just got a little out of position for a minute, but he's back in a good position. He's kind of going to have to lock him up.
How does he get those arms loose?
He's just got to power it down and get his right knee over the other knee or the other leg of Justin Hartley. Right
Hartley holding off right now, and again, if there's not a lot of activity, Jason Wilkerson will stand the two up. So let's see what Bam Bam Gray can do here on the ground. Justin Hartley trying to hold him off. We got 1 minute to go in this first round.
What Bam Bam wants to do is circle to his right a little and get Justin's head right against the cage so he doesn't have any lateral neck movement. Pin him against there and then work his way out.
Now it looks like his head's pretty well pinned. Now it's not. Okay, let's see here now with 40 seconds to go if Gray has enough room to maneuver.
And he's going to pass, and he does. Nice pass by Bam Bam.
30 seconds. Hartley showing he's strong as well. Holding off Gray.
Right back to guard. Justin's got great jiu-jitsu.
Nice strike right there from Bam Bam Gray.
Justin tried for that triangle, and Bam Bam threw it right off and passed him right in the side mount.
Final seconds here in the first round. And not a lot going on. We will move on to round number 2. You talked about the jiu-jitsu skills.
You don't see that very often.
How did that happen?
You don't see that very often out there.
His protective cup somehow escaped the nether regions and came out of the bottom of the trunks. Or Hartley's a magician. I don't know. Either way.
I don't know how he got it out of there. I don't even want to know.
All right, how did you see that first round? That's a tough one for me. You're a former fighter, so is this Bam Bam's round?
That is Bam Bam's round. He had a good takedown on Justin. Justin hit him with one punch. Didn't really do any damage. Hartley got in, got the takedown, got the single leg, switched it up, picked that ankle over, and took him down, and then just kind of controlled the top. Justin had, I wouldn't even call it a submission attempt, almost. Didn't have much of a leverage on it or a good angle. So with the control and takedown, I definitely give that to Bam Bam.
Gray wants it on the ground. Hartley wants to stay standing if he can and to punish Gray with boxing. But that was a solid first round for Bam Bam Gray. Let's see if Hartley can do something different here in round 2 to prevent that from happening again. Round 2. Here we go in this welterweight division battle. Kenny Bam Bam Gray, Justin Hartley.
Nice lead kick he came with that.
Now that's a good leg kick right there from Hartley.
A lot of time these strikers get very timid and don't throw as many strikes as they want to against a ground fighter or a wrestler. I can understand that, but then it gives the wrestler the advantage because he's already in your head.
And that's your forte. If you're not striking, whether it be with kicks or with punches, how are you going to win the fight if you're not as skilled on the ground? So right now, Hartley trying to showcase a little of that here, standing in round 2. But he is keeping a distance from the dangerous Kenny Bam Bam Gray. Wow, kick right there. Surprised Gray didn't leap on him.
He wanted to, but he knew he's coming around with that other leg, and Justin Hartley did.
Fans a little restless. They want some more activity here as we are through. Oh, good kick there. We're through 1 round, or 1 minute of the second round. And here
big
comes
takedown
a
coming.
big
Big takedown.
square.
Whoa!
Hartley goes down hard right in front of us. Gray showing his strength.
Kenny Bam Bam Gray lifted him up and just positioned him and slammed him through the mat.
Hartley trying some ground and pound, but he could be in a heap of trouble on. There's a pile drive attempt right here.
Pretty good triangle he had on him, but Bam Bam powered right out of it.
Now again, you're Bam Bam Gray right here, Rick. You're trying to get those legs up and pile drive him, but Hartley's doing a good job preventing it.
Well, Bam Bam needs it. That's pretty good what he did, but he kind of came down in a bad position. What he should have done is just stepped over that left leg and went right into side control.
Advantage Kenny Gray as the two fighters are on the ground.
I'm very surprised with Justin Hartley's guard. Every time he's gotten in guard, he's going to try to get a little bit of a rubber guard right here. He's kind of controlling the upper body of Bam Bam with his leg. But I'm very impressed with his guard from the bottom because anytime Bam Bam's got on top, he's not been able to do anything that he's wanted to.
What he's showing is defensively on the ground, he's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. He's got some skill on the bottom. I haven't seen a single punch land from Bam Bam. He's got side control one time, but it was only for a few seconds, and he got put right back in. Uh-oh.
He got a little tired of that, and then now they're back on their feet with 20 seconds to go. Round 2 again, scheduled for 3.
The only thing that has scored so far in the fight has been Bam Bam's 2 takedowns. That is absolutely it.
Final seconds.
This could be another, and it is.
Hartley tried the punch. He connected. It wasn't a lot of power behind it, and then Gray caught him and took him down. So as you mentioned, 2 make it 3 now takedowns for Gray through 2 rounds.
Justin Hartley has to get something in his head right now, and his coaches need to tell him this right now. He's going to get taken down. He is not going to stop Bam Bam's takedown. So why not throw as many punches and kicks as you can until you get taken down? He's not going to stop it. He's already showed right now. Bam Bam's got superior takedown ability, and he's way stronger. So he's going to take you down at will. So he needs to get in there and throw as many punches and kicks and hope they land before.
There you see Justin Hartley getting a few sips of aqua. And then Bam Bam Gray being talked to in his corner, which includes Sammy Lua.
The main event's over there.
He'll be one of the fighters in our main event, and he's giving some instructions to Kenny Bam Bam Gray. Sammy Lua now fighting out of Louisiana. And of course, Bam Bam Gray out of New Orleans, where he's from, but actually now he's residing in Memphis and fighting for John Trent and UFK, where he's training some there. Let's see what Hartley can do with strikes, standing. Gray will obviously try to get it back on the ground. Decisive round 3. Here we go.
I like Hartley's style, but he's got to unleash right here. There he goes.
Nothing connected though. And again, Gray said, I'm going to, even if I have to eat one, I'm going to take it down.
Right now, Justin Hartley needs to put in a crossface. And Bam Bam's got to really go. Oh, it's going to be a big slam.
Wow. Another one. That's 4 if you're scoring at home.
Yeah, he as soon as he got put against the cage, he should have crossfaced Bam Bam. Having his head there to control Bam Bam having his head there, enable him to put his arm through his crotch and lift him straight up in the air.
We talked about Hartley's ability on the bottom defensively, but what have you seen from him on the ground offensively? He tried the Kimura, right, in the first. Was that him? That was Hartley, right?
That was Hartley. He had the Kimura, and right now, Bam Bam needs to let that mouthpiece go. He needs to just drop. He's getting killed because of that mouthpiece, okay? Now back to what you're saying, Greg. A lot of times those fighters just need to let the mouthpiece go. The ref will get it, and he will put it in your mouth later.
Man,
but
he took a beating right there. Not punishing, but it was scoring. Certainly, Hartley getting some ground and pounding.
But yeah, he had that Kimura right in the first round. In the second round, he had a very nice triangle on him. It wasn't super deep, and Bam Bam kind of powered out of it. So he had a couple good offensive submission attempts, but mostly he's been on the defense right here with Bam Bam.
Bam Bam just showing and proving to everyone what they already knew. The guy is really strong.
And the cup's out.
Once again, the cup, the mouth guard. As long as the trunks stay up.
Yeah, we're good. Let's hope nothing happens, because that's kind of a hard piece of equipment to put back in on the fly.
Approaching.
No pun intended.
You're absolutely right. Approaching 1 minute to go here in the fight. Again, you're Hartley, Rick. Tell me what you can do now, because you got to feel you're losing this fight.
Hartley needs to sweep him. I know it's going to be hard to sweep a wrestler. He's either got to get a good submission. He's got an armbar coming up here. If he can straighten this out, this might be something good.
Here comes the slam. Well, it's a partial slam from Gray. So he's tried everything really hard.
He really is. Bama's got really good control. He's got great hips on top of him, and what that means is his hips control Hartley's hips. He's not letting him get out of position where you could work a submission, shrimp out to either side. So you could tell the wrestling abilities of Bam Bam are pretty superior.
It's just a matter of strength. He's so strong, or he's just so smart and tactical.
Well, it's technique, a lot of technique, and if you got technique coupled on top of the strength, then you're definitely going to hold people down.
10 seconds to go. One fighter will lose for the first time. The other will remain undefeated. We are going to the judges' scorecard once again. Kenny Bam Bam Gray, Justin Hartley. And then I don't know what happened there, but
a little trash talking. Kenny or Justin was just saying that all he did was hold him down the whole fight. So, but hey,
that's his
he's
style.
a grinder. That's what he does.
Right. He wants it on the ground. We talked about this in our preview. Hartley wanted to keep it standing. Well, the guy who wanted it on the ground was the better of the two, and I would have to think that the judges will agree. Rick's going to make his way inside the cage to talk to our winner, whether it be Kenny Bam Bam Gray or Justin Hartley. Meanwhile, the judges filling out their scorecards. There's Sammy Lua to your right. To our right, he'll be fighting in the main event. And Bam Bam Gray looking to move up the ranks in the welterweight division in V3 Fights. For Justin Hartley, quite possibly, and we'll find out in a moment, his first loss. Many say Hartley could be the best welterweight in the state. So if that is the case, how much of a step backwards is it, or is it just a real step forward for Kenny Bam Bam Gray? Cards are in. Two fighters will be brought to the center of the cage, and we'll get the announcement from Michael Kelly. Is it Gray? Is it Hartley? Who won this welterweight division battle here at Marathon Music Works in Nashville? Here's Michael Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in the V3 Cage at Marathon Music Works, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. All 3 judges scoring this one for your winner by unanimous decision, Kenny Bam Bam Gray!
And there you go. As we thought, Bam Bam Gray gets the win. A lot of people upset in the audience, and that's because Justin Hartley hails from Nashville, but there is no question who won this fight. Now Rick McCracken, get a few words with our winner.
Kenny Grant, great win tonight, man. A sensational wrestling skills you put out there, buddy.
Thank you so much, man. Worked real hard. I want to thank my mama for giving me encouraging words. I love you, Mom. To my B2G family, I love you, man. And for all the people who said that I don't train, I do train.
Well, definitely, man. You look like you trained. You put some serious air on those slams, man. You had him up that one time. I thought you guys were coming through the cage, buddy.
Yeah, man. He's a tough one. He's tough, man. He's a tough guy.
Well, great fight, great win. Hope to see you back. Anything else you want to say?
On now, I know I'm taking this 170 division. Whoever want to come get it, baby. Bam, bam.
Here it is, 170. Hopes to be the champion. Your winner tonight, Kenny Gray.
Bam Bam improves to 3-0 as he wins the unanimous decision bout versus Justin Hartley. We'll take a quick timeout, come back with more exciting action from Marathon Music Works in Nashville. This is V3 Fights.